3D audio is going to be a game changer in the world of
Sony
video games. I'm pretty sure Tecmo Bowl has a speed run. Hey everybody, welcome back to this week's Most Elite Podcast. Sorry, I immediately hit my mic right in the beginning of this. I'm wearing my headset, so when I turned my head, I was close enough to my mic that I tacked it there. So, you know, that's something, huh? Anyway, let's get to talking. I don't really have a topic. I was thinking about talking about Nerf culture, you know. I mentioned it prior on the podcast, and a while back I talked to my good friend Mike. We were talking about Nerf culture. I went to go had to replace the toilet at my house, and we got talking about Nerfs in video games. And we were like, yeah, man, Nerf culture sucks. I think the reason it sucks is this is one of the negative things. There's a couple of positive things about Nerfs, right? But I feel that the negatives outweigh the positives in a lot of ways. And the negatives, the biggest, I think, negative thing about Nerfs is that it enables people to just say, well, this is bad, instead of saying, I should get better at this. Right? Like, growing up, when games were pre-patchy, you know, with bugs and all that shit, like, and you couldn't patch anything into a game. The game was complete when you bought it, right? Growing up in that environment, for most of us, at least I assume most of my audience is around my age. I'm 30, if anybody doesn't know how old I am. So yeah, I grew up with like PlayStation and 64. I got Nintendos and stuff later when I could afford them as an adult, right? Growing up and playing those old games like that, where if the game was kicking your ass, it was just kicking your ass. There was no one to complain to except like your close friends or your friends in the schoolyard. Like if you go to school, and a lot of people I imagine would go to school with like Nintendo Power and like read all the secrets of try to beat a fucking stage in a game, right? There was nobody you could reach out to. The internet, while it did exist, it didn't take its current form. It wasn't Perfect Cell yet. It's Perfect Cell now, that's for sure, but it wasn't yet. So there didn't exist forums like Reddit or like Facebook gaming groups that you can join. There was nowhere to go to find like-minded individuals to trade information and try to overcome these obstacles, right? And once you did it back then, you either like had to bring your friends over, like, look, here's the credits. I did this. I beat that very hard thing none of us could beat. Worship me, praise me, petty mortals. That's what it felt like, and rightfully so. If a game or anything, I know a lot of people say nothing that's worth it is easy, and I think that really applies to gaming. I think gaming proves that statement. Nothing that's worth it is easy, because I feel like if you did a hard challenge in a game, or you did a crazy run like that you made for yourself. I do challenge runs, and I beat all of Ghost of Tsushima without ever riding the horse. And I know that doesn't sound like anything, but I do that a lot with games. Like when I do things just to give it some spice, some flavor, because games nowadays sort of hold your hand. And not that there's anything wrong with that. The gaming audience has opened up so much that anybody could be playing this game for the first time. So I understand the developer side as well as the consumer side. Where they lose me is where they have a vision for the game. They test it, they play test it, they go through whatever the fuck they go through to get it to release. They release it. People say, well, I think this is too hard. And they see that constantly. And then they say, well, let's turn it down. We can do that now. Why? Why do they do that, you think? They already made the money from the purchase, right? Unless it's a game like Call of Duty or any live service game where they need to keep you playing so you can spend more money on the game, because obviously they're going to have a cash shop, they're going to have a battle pass. But single player games, right? Single player games don't need any of that. Once you buy it, you bought it. It's over. Play the game or don't. So what it really grinds my gears when I see single player games being nerfed because of those internet forums. A whole bunch of people saying, well, this is too hard. Now, some things can be broken or a glitch, and some developers, oh, that was not working as intended. We fixed it, and that's completely okay. I wish that happened back in the day. But when they make a change, when people say, well, this is too hard, I don't think this is, nobody can beat this. But I'm seeing people say, oh, this is so fucking bullshit, this is impossible. But then I'll pull up a fucking no-hit run of that very thing, of somebody easily wearing no armor beating all of Dark Souls 3. No armor, no weapons. Playing on like the Donkey Konga drum sets. And that gets me thinking, was it too hard? Or were you dog shit? Because this person, not only did they beat it with no weapons, no magic, no armor, they fucking used a Donkey Konga drum kit to beat the whole game. So I mean, I don't know which to believe. Your words saying this was so hard, turn it down, or the evidence of this person beating the entire game, or that person who beat the whole game without ever dodging, without ever rolling. Beat the whole Dark Souls. I don't remember which one. And Dark Souls is considered some of the hardest games of all time. They're considered like a crazy hard series. But I know plenty of people who play them, and I quote, to relax. So, in a single player game like that, and kudos, by the way, to the Dark Souls people, they never ever made it easier for anybody. To my knowledge, they never turned it down. Learn the game. What the fuck? We made the game. This is how it should be played. Learn it. And I was talking to my friend Mike about it. He was like, yeah, we played like Resident Evil 1 extreme mode or like hard mode with invisible enemies, right? And we beat that. If something like that released today, it would be shit on all over the internet, because people have gotten too lazy because of the nerf culture. It's easier for a group of people to say, we'll turn this down so we can enjoy it, instead of the individual saying, I'm not doing well at this game, I should practice. And it is easy to be in that mindset. Like, I speedrun Resident Evil 2, right? Like the OG, 1998. I speedrun that game all the time. And I was trying to get better times, and I kept falling short. And it was a couple of parts in the game that I know I'm not good at, right? My good friend Troy, he was like, dude, just practice them. And, I was like, fuck off, like, because it's mostly arrogance. As I said before in a different video, I underestimate things. I'm like, this isn't that hard. And then it's like kicking my ass. I'm like, all right, it's probably that hard. So I went and I got all the saves. Every save. I downloaded a file with all the saves to load and practice these parts. And after maybe 45 minutes of practicing this one part called YOLO Hallway, I can now do it pretty consistently. Maybe 70% of the time I get it. And that wouldn't have been possible if I didn't just sit down and do it. I think there's not enough people today who do that, who just sit down and say, all right, where am I, what's my, I don't want to say weakness, but where do I have some opportunities for growth in this section of the game? What could I perhaps do better or different to help me get past this part of the game, without saying it's too difficult, it's too hard? Because a lot of a game that recently came out, one of my favorites of 2021, Returnal. It's a PS5 exclusive, and I bought it, and I did everything in like 2 days. I got the secret ending. I got most of the items. I'm not an achievement hunter. I don't really care about achievements. So right now I'm just trying to get all the glyphs on each stage, and it's random. So maybe I'll never get them, And I love it. I think it's one of the coolest games ever made. And I love roguelikes, like Enter the Gungeon and stuff. This game is basically Enter the Gungeon, but 3D and open world, and you play your fucking space captain, and there's monsters, Cthulhu-esque monsters. I mean, it's everything that I ever wanted, right? So I played it, and I beat it, and I did everything. And a couple of my friends got it, and they played it, and they're like, oh, man, this is fucking hard. I'm like, what? This game's free as fuck, boys. It's free, right? And you get on Reddit, and you get on the internet, and everyone's like, oh, this is too hard. And a week after release, during that first week of release, the devs took notice. They were like, oh, we noticed a lot of you were saying it's too difficult. And at first, they stuck by their guns. They were like, we think that you should embrace the challenge and figure out ways to defeat it. And they are right. It's not the game. It's you. And then, I think maybe 2 weeks or so after, the complaint's still rolling in. They admitted that in a patch, I don't know if it dropped or it's coming out, they were going to tune the difficulty to make it slightly less overwhelming. And I don't think that's the right move. It should be overwhelming. It should be. That's the design of the game. You're lost and alone, stuck in a death loop. Overcome that shit. The entire philosophy of the game is overcoming the loop. You, the player, are stuck in a loop of losing in Returnal. Overcome that shit. And when you do, you'll be like, damn, this game is free as fuck, boys. I did it. And then you could sit where I'm sitting and be like, yeah, isn't it super fun? And you would tell all your friends to go and play it, because that feeling isn't a feeling anybody is getting anymore. Of, I just beat this game, or I made it super far in this game where nobody else made it, and people are saying, oh, it's hard, it's this, it's that. It's not those things. I just, my fire smoke alarm, hold on a second. Yeah, it's doing that thing where, like, the battery's getting low, so it beeps intermittently to tell you, hey, look, it's getting low. So I haven't gotten to the store to change the battery. So, but yeah, that feeling is something I think the newer generation of gamers are missing, because it's just easier to complain online until it gets changed to suit what they believe difficulty is. Not the designers, not the creators of the game, who this is what they made. This was the challenge they presented to you, and they're asking of you to overcome it. And you're saying, no, that's too hard. You know what? I don't like dying 40 times in the opening of a game, so I think you made it wrong. You, the creator, did it wrong, and I think I'm right. That's what I'm seeing online. Come on, guys. Really? I don't think that's the proper way to go about it. I think some self-reflection is needed. And if something is broken or glitched or bugged, fix it. That's completely okay. But if it's just a difficulty issue, that's completely on you. You have to overcome that. And it makes me really sad that a lot of gamers don't embrace that idea. It's really a bummer, because a lot of good games are out there, and some would say they're fucking hard. Some would say they're not, right? So I don't know. I think nerfs. I don't think nerfs are the way to go, especially in single player games. It's a whole different argument to be had for fighting games and first person shooters or third person shooters. That's an entirely different conversation. But for single player story driven games like your Resident Evil, like your Returnal, like your Bloodborne, your Dark Souls, there is zero reason ever, I think, to turn something down because somebody can't do it. So what that you can't do it? Other people probably can. And if you want to do it, as my friend Troy said, you have to sit down and you have to practice it. Just because you can't blaze through something or breeze through doesn't mean it's too difficult or it's unfair. It means it's asking you to take your time and think about what you're doing, enact a plan, and do it. Not just running, spamming attack and jump and hoping. That's not how you do it. That's not how you overcome a challenge. That's not how you would overcome. If you had to change a tire in your car, you wouldn't just fucking go outside with your tool kit and your boots and your belt and hope for the best. You would hopefully look it up online, read about it, get the new tire, buy the correct tool, follow a video guide, and then do the action, right? You wouldn't sit there, try to do it on your own, not be able to do it, and then be like, this is bullshit. Why do car manufacturers make it so tires can't be fucking changed in like 5 seconds? What the fuck? I gotta get a jack. I gotta take, what the fuck, this tire iron? This shit is, what is this, 1950? Why I gotta do this? They need to change how tires installed on my Jeeps. That's bullshit, guys. That's bullshit. And that's how you sound when you're saying something's too hard or this is unfair. It's not unfair. And it's not too hard. It's a higher difficulty than you gave it credit for. And you need to readjust, recollect your thoughts, and try again. And I think nerfs take that away from us. Which is, I guess, the basis of my argument. I think nerfs in single player games are bad because they take away our ability to try again. Do it again. Do it again. It's okay. The video game isn't going anywhere. It's not going to self-destruct if you don't beat it. Try it again. You might get it. But complaining about it, you'll never get it. Because once it's turned down, once the difficulty is at a level where you think it's okay, it'll never feel the same. When you beat it, it'll be pyrrhic. It'll be fake. You didn't beat it. You beat the baby version. Why didn't you just play on easy mode? And here comes the argument. Well, these games don't have easy mode. You're right. They're designed without it. And because they're designed without it, they're asking of you to figure out how to beat it, regardless of that barrier, in quotes, because no easy mode is not a barrier. It doesn't matter if there's no easy mode in the game. It's not a barrier. They're asking you to figure it out. If you are incapable of figuring it out, don't point the finger at the devs. Don't point the finger at the creators, like, make this easier. No. You need to get a mirror. You need to point the finger at you. You do better. And I'm not saying get good. As I said, if something's broken, something's unfair, fucking fix that shit. What I am saying is, don't blow the whistle on unfair or too hard before you have taken every precaution and every step to improve yourself first. Because I feel like if we keep going down this path of take this out, change this, especially in single player games, I think at some point we're going to get to the walking simulators. Remember the Order 1886? Anybody remember that game? That game was like 6 gunfights and the rest was a movie. And then everybody shit all over it because it was a movie. But like, this is what you want. Because if we would have made this hard gunfights, we'd be hearing all over everywhere. What the fuck, man? These fucking gun battles. It's werewolves? What's going on? Like, what do you want, right? And devs, I feel bad for most of them, you know? Because you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. Now, the only person who got away with it is the Miyazaki team. You know, none of the Souls games have a difficulty setting. They don't care. And there's an entire audience for that. But the thing is, I think people miscategorize those games. People say, oh, they're like hardest games ever. I don't think they're the hardest games ever. I think they're more difficult than what you're used to. And if you gave them the same amount of thought that you did the things that you're used to or the things that you like, you find that they're really welcoming and they're really fun if you sit down and do them. But hey, that's my rant on Nerf culture and why I think it's negatively impacting game design as a whole. If you like what you heard, please like, comment, and subscribe, share, all those good things. If you don't, that's okay too. Thank you for listening. We'll see you guys next week with something else cool. And don't forget, I am going to do the fruit. You know, if I don't do it today, I'll do it tomorrow. No big deal. All right, guys. See you later.